Today I'm going to compare and review 6 different cervical traction units. I tested 3 upright ones and 3 lying down. I wanted to go over pros and cons of each and rate each out of 5 stars. And at the end, I will rank all of them from the best to the worst. We'll go over the 3 that you can use lying down. The first is the chiropractor pillow. A lot of different companies and brands make similar style pillows for neck alignment. Dr. Joe did a video for one of these. The idea is that it realigns your neck. In the user manual, it says it is designed specifically to treat cervical spondylosis, which has to do with wear and tear of your cervical discs. This device is designed to gently lengthen your cervical spine to create more space in your cervical disc region. It puts your cervical spine in a more neutral position. It is very comfortable and very easy to use. I will rate it 5 out of 5 for cervical pain due to its ease of use and comfort. The second cervical traction device that you can use lying down is the neck hammock. This is an imitation of the cervical towel traction unit that you can make yourself at home. I made a video comparing the neck hammock and the DIY cervical traction unit in the video. I'll put the card on the screen so you can check it out if you want. The neck hammock is actually extremely easy to use, and because it's only in one piece, you don't have to put anything together. It is very comfortable and it gives a really good amount of stretch. Now I will give it 5 out of 5 because it gives a good stretch and easy to use and comfort. The third and last cervical traction unit that you can use lying down out of the 3 is the ComforTrac. This is very similar to the one we use in the physical therapy clinic. It is very comparable compared to the one we use in the clinic, but it is still the most expensive one out of the 6. It is pretty comfortable with minimal setup required. It is pretty easy to use and it gives a very strong stretch. You also have a lot of control over how much stretch you get. What I like the most about this one is that it is only one with a pressure gauge where you can see how much pressure that you're adding on to your neck. It is the only one out of the 6 that has this feature. The only other one that gives you an idea of how much pressure you're putting in your neck is the over the door traction unit with the water bag. But the pressure is very different, and I'll explain later. I will rate this one 5 out of 5 for ease of use, comfort, and the amount of stretch that you can provide. On top of that, it has a pressure gauge. I love that. The first one I tested that can be used in an upright or seated position is the NeckFix neck balloon. I hated this one. It barely gives you any stretch. It is more for neck support, like a neck brace, than an actual cervical traction unit. When you try to pump it past 1 minute to get more stretch, to feel more stretch, it actually suffocates you instead. And I was trying to be nice when I gave it 3 out of 5 stars on Amazon, but in reality, I will only give it 1 out of 5. The second one I tested that you can use in the seated position is the DMI Over Door Cervical Traction unit that uses a water bag to provide traction force. This was a real pain to set up. There was more parts than I had to put together than I would like. A lot of different moving parts. And the worst part was actually the water bag. I made a mistake of adjusting a rope length after I put the water in the bag. That was a big mistake because it is very difficult to adjust the rope length with a 20-pound bag attached to it. And if you want to attach the full water bag onto the rope, that is also extremely difficult. So if you have this one, make sure to adjust the rope before you put the water in the bag. I also was not allowed to return this product to Amazon, so I'm not very happy about this. So it said the max pressure is 20 pounds for the water bag, but it actually is not really 20 pounds because the 20 pounds with a water bag compared to the 20 pounds with ComforTrac with the pressure gauge is like night and day. The water bag, in fact, remember correctly, just felt like a gentle, like a medium stretch. While 20 pounds on the ComforTrac is like, well, I could really feel like my neck being pulled and being lengthened. And that any more than the 20-pound level, it was going to be uncomfortable. So it gives a medium amount of stretch for your neck. It's more than NeckFix, but worse than ComforTrac. I will rate a 1 out of 5 here because it's a pain to set up, pretty messy because of the water, and they didn't let me return it. The last one that I tested is another over-the-door cervical traction unit. This one is a little bit strange, not in the bad way. The product picture from the website makes it look like you can adjust the pressure of the cervical traction while you are in position through a handle, but that is actually not true. Once you are in position with the strap and everything set up, the handle that you pull down can only make the strap snug. It doesn't actually allow you to add more pressure by pulling the handle more. I had to stand up, pull the handle while standing to raise the unit height, and then sit down into the traction unit. It's a little bit scary when you sit down into a higher pressure position because while it is not painful, it felt like there's a lot of pressure on my jaw and my teeth. I felt like my teeth were grinding against each other because of the amount of pressure from the chin straps. I didn't have any trouble breathing, so that was good. So that's why I say it was not painful and not uncomfortable. I would rate this one 4 out of 5 just because it does have potential to give a really good amount of traction. Relatively easy to set up, and it's not messy at all to set up. The 1 star that I take away from this out of the 5 will be just because the amount of pressure on my teeth and jaw while in this position. Oh, and the little awkwardness in adjusting the pressure because I had to stand up, adjust the pressure, sit down. It's a little bit awkward. For some reason, the seated or upright cervical traction units are just subpar compared to the ones you can use lying down. If I want to rank all of them, I will rank the neck hammock at the highest, followed by ComforTrac, chiropractic pillow, over-the-door cervical traction with handle, the DMI cervical traction with water bag, and the last will be NeckFix, the neck balloon. If I want to rank it considering the cost and I want to be something that has very budget friendly and has a good amount of stretch, I would actually not use any of these. And check out my comparison between the neck hammock and the cervical tower traction unit. Ranking by budget. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like the video, feel free to give it a dislike, thumb down, and leave a comment down below to let me know how I can make my videos better. See you in the next one.